Find your fire and let it fuel your dream. That is the message from the moon this first quarter we have in Sagittarius on August 31st, 2025. Like all first quarters, on this first quarter, the moon is asking you to take action and move your dreams along. But unlike other first quarters, this one is specifically focused on finding your fire, what lights you up, and taking action that aligns specifically with that. It's a good one. Hi, I'm Laura Custo, and I'm the moon phase astrologer and your life strategist for rhythmic living. I'm here to help you use the lunar cycles to make sense of the world, to calm down our crazy, hectic modern life by reconnecting with your own inner timing. Now, the absolute best place to start in working with the moon is by following the moon. It's our closest celestial neighbor, and it has the most to say to us as a result of that. It also oversees our emotions. So when you're feeling anything and you're trying to make sense of it, nature's gift to you was the moon. Your answers to making sense of any emotions are tied to the moon. Now, to help get you started on following the moon and working with the moon, I created a free guide. It's called the Moon Phase Compass, and you can download it at lauracusto.com/guide. Now, in this guide, I walk you through the 4 phases that repeat every single month. They're very foundational. Now, the energies that they are tied to every month change because the moon's always in a different sign, and then the other planets are making different angles, which is what we talk about on these weekly videos. But those foundational cycles that repeat every single month, those you can learn, and that's what the guide gives you. Again, very foundational knowledge, help get you started, and I'll put a link for that at the top of the show notes. Okay. Now let's get into the energy around this first quarter and why it's all about finding your fire and exactly how to do that. Now, Sagittarius, the sign where this first quarter is happening, is a fire sign. So that's the start of where this fire comes from. But it's not just about that. You see, at this first quarter, the moon is making harmonious angles with 2 other planets also in fire signs. Venus, the planet of love, and Saturn, the planet of responsibility. Now, all of this is coming together and shaping our guidance from above and bringing our dreams to life, which is what the first quarter is all about. It's about nurturing our dreams. So, how do we decipher all this fire energy? And there's a couple other planets that are important but aren't in fire, and we'll get into that too. But how do we do that this first quarter? Here are 3 steps to help you find your fire and put it to good use. So step 1, I want to encourage you to find your spark. The spark that started this fire. What do I mean by that? All right, well, all first quarters are the second phase of a moon cycle. Now, the first phase would have been the new moon. So what we do on all these moon phases, especially after the new moon, is we look at where they are. And this one's at Sagittarius, right? It's at 8 degrees though, specifically. So what we're going to do is we're going to look back in time and we're going to find the last time we had a new moon close to 8 degrees Sagittarius. And that was November 30th, 2024. So to find your spark, to find your clue for what needs nurturing here on this first quarter, you need to look back to that day. November 30th, 2024, plus or minus a few days, obviously, about, the week of November 30th. And specifically, did you set an intention? Were you following the new moons back then? If you wrote one down, great, go dig that journal up. If you didn't, you can also look at your calendar, sent and received emails, pictures you took, something to get your bearings. What was going on in life? What were your dreams? What were your hopes? What did you want? What were your desires? And also along with that, even if you've got really good notes, I want you to try to tap into what was your self-talk back then? What was your mood? What vibration were you really operating in? That will give you clues as to what could be acted upon here. Now, another clue is to find the area of life that Sagittarius oversees for you. If you're familiar with astrology and you know your chart, you'll know what I'm talking about. You can go look at your chart and remind yourself, oh, Sagittarius, it rules my 10th house of career, or it rules my 4th house of home. And so as you're looking back to that day, November 30th, you can look through that lens. Oh, it's focused on my home. What was going on in my home life? Or it's focused on my career. Well, what was my self-talk in my career? What was my attitude towards my career? Okay. Now, if you don't know, I do have a couple of other ways to help you with this, and they are through two offers. One's called Moon Map. The other is Moon Chat. Now, Moon Map is a simple course that you can take. It'll guide you through how to find what I call your map, and it will give you which zodiac sign rules which area of life. So for Sagittarius in this first quarter, you'll know, oh, it rules my money, let's say. And the bonus is that you can use it for every single moon phase for the rest of your life. So it's amazing. You can find that at lauracusso.com/map. The other option I have for you is called Moon Chat. It's a membership, and what you get with that is so amazing. It makes all of this very, very easy. 2 days before each moon phase, I will send you an email based on your astrology chart telling you exactly what area of life is being activated. I will encourage you to write things down and keep track of things. There's a journal that you can add onto your membership where you can put all of these notes, and I also break up these emails for you into actionable steps. So that is at lauracusso.com/membership. I will put a link for both of those at the top of the show notes if you'd like to check them out. Okay, once you've found your spark, what do we do next? Well, we're going to recognize that this is an action taking point, and we're going to pay homage to the other planets involved. Because we are playing with fire here, and we're going to be responsible, okay? So at this first quarter, we have tension with the sun, right? It's prompting action. All first quarters have this tension of the sun. So we're going to feel a little restless, but let's look where the sun is. The sun's in Virgo. Virgo is a very clean energy. It's very predictable, it's routine, and it's organized. So we need to honor that while we have the moon in Sagittarius, and that is fire, and we want to do something big and bold perhaps here, we don't want to betray our routines that keep us healthy and grounded. Now, the other planet that we want to look to is the planet of action, because we're taking action, and that is Mars. Mars is in Libra, which is also a very different energy from fire. Libra is all about balance, and it is measured, and it is fair, and it is considerate of others. So I wanted to bring this up before I got into all the fire, because I wanted to set the tone. So this configuration in the sky is helpful because it paints a helpful picture to always use when you're dealing with a lot of emotion, which is what fire energy is all about. Fire energy is very passionate. You feel deeply. You want what you want. You want others to see what you see, okay? Passion is great fuel. At the same time, we want to use it mindfully and responsibly to get the best results. Okay, now let's move on to step 3. We're going to fine-tune our fire. Okay, so we have talked about the spark, we've found the spark, we've talked about fire safety here, so to speak, but now let's really fine tune it. Let's bring in these harmonious aspects to Venus and Saturn, okay? We have the moon, our emotions, and it's flowing with what we love, which is Venus, and what we are responsible for, which is Saturn. It's flowing, 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 and we're going to use it as fuel for our actions toward our dreams here. This is how we're going to use this fire to fuel your dreams. Again, at the very beginning, I talked about how we want to do it in a way that's unique for you. So this is all about you, and fire, again, is such an emotional feeling energy. So I really want you to tap into what lights you up here as we talk about this. We're going to turn this spark into actual fire, right? So let's talk about Saturn first. The planet of responsibility. That doesn't sound very fiery, does it? It's not as fun as pleasurable Venus, but let's look at responsibility through a slightly different lens here. We've got the moon, which is emotion, and we've got Venus, which is love. How about instead of responsibility with Saturn, we think about it in terms of devotion? That's a little bit more exciting, isn't it? So ask yourself, what about this dream, this spark that I have? What would create devotion within me to really nurture it to life? What would I do to protect it, to care for it, to keep it alive, right? That devotion. You're going to watch over that fire and keep it alive. So really lean into the good that this dream coming to life can bring into the world, and let that fuel your energy and fuel you to put more energy behind it and to stay devoted to it, to protect it, let's say, from the wind and from the rain. And then let's talk about Venus. Venus is love and pleasure. And it's easy to think about how we love something and how something brings us pleasure, but it becomes even more powerful when we consider how it can bring love into the world, how it can make the world a better place. Not just easing human suffering, let's say, but how could it truly add joy to the world, right? We make it about others, everything gets more powerful. So then, the last step here, we're going to use all of that, and we're going to take this spark and we're going to turn it into action. We're going to interact with the external world, because in the first quarter, it's not about doing things in your head or journaling or thinking about your dreams or meditating. It is about getting out there and interacting with the world. So you're going to book an appointment or a trip. You're going to sign up for a class, have a conversation. Maybe it's downloading an app and starting to use it. It's starting a new diet by buying the new food, writing affirmations all over your house. It's action, right? Doing something. Okay. So to recap here, we're working with fire and we're talking about how to find your fire and how to use it to fuel your dream. So keep these steps in mind to maximize this energy at this first quarter. Step 1, find your spark. Let's go back to that date in November 30th, and realize what you planted. It may have also been unconscious if you weren't actively doing something. And I want to also mention that if you realize that the spark that you lit was not so great, you can use the first quarter as an opportunity to blow it out and rechart your course. Take action to stop it, and then take further action to set into motion that which you do want. Okay, step 2. Even though we're working with fire here, we're going to do it responsibly. We're going to acknowledge that the sun is in Virgo, and we're not going to compromise our sense of self, our health, and our groundedness. And we're going to be considerate of others, because Mars, the planet of action, is in Libra, and because we want this to be rooted in integrity. All right, and then step 3, we're going to fine-tune our actions by really harnessing the love and the pleasure of Venus and the responsibility and devotion of Saturn that we feel when we think about our dreams, right? We're dealing with the moon here. This is about feeling, right? And this is about using our emotions and our vibration to bring our dreams to life. All of these moon phases is, right? We're calming down this go, 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 crazy, hectic, I've got to achieve all the time in this 3D crazy world we live in. And we're letting our emotions lead the way through the guidance of the moon and the planets. They're always guiding us. Okay. I also want to mention Sagittarius. The energy we're dealing with here is extremely aspirational. Sagittarius is the natural ruler of the 9th house, which is about higher education, and it's about worldly exploration. But really, the sign of Sagittarius, the arrow is being pointed into the heart of God. It is seeking that one true truth, the truest truth, the highest high truth. And so with this harmonious energy that we have with the moon, Venus, and Saturn and fire, it creates this beautiful combination, and it's very balanced. But with Sagittarius ultimately being that high energy here, it's encouraging you. If we think about launching something, it's encouraging you to craft an action that's akin to a finely tuned rocket ship and bringing it into orbit. So put some thought into this. This isn't a backyard firecracker that you're lighting off, okay? It's not going to get into orbit if you do that. Sagittarius is high reaching and it's ultimate truth seeking. Aim high. All right, that's a wrap on the Sagittarius first quarter. And now that you've gotten the message from the moon, how will you respond? What will you do? I would love to know. Please drop that in the comments below. All right, enjoy this first quarter. Use it wisely. Remember, we're playing with fire. Until next week, take care.